Mark and Jeremy Barner and me, Nancy Montgomery, and Art Owens and Mayor Dale Cahall are here. So we can't do the approval of previous minutes because we don't have those. Let's skip the second one. No, I want to get that done today, so let's go ahead. Second one is splash pad progress. If you've seen, it's been started, and they're saying it should be done, within 2 weeks, Art?
Yeah, they cut the pad, put the forms up yesterday, and we're trenching and.
There we go. Yeah, my leg messed up. I haven't been able to walk out there.
Yeah. Okay, I'll use it. Anyway, they cut the pad and everything. They unloaded the manifold and the control system by the concession stand area. It's going to that's going to be bolted into the concession stand and only required 110 volts. There was already an outlet close, so it's easy to get the electric over to it. He said a couple of weeks it should be up and ready, and he'll give the everybody that cleans the park and everything, Tom and Jeremiah basically will get instruction on how to use this thing. It'll be live from the get-go, but it won't be activated so that the button shoots water up. Very simple system. You go in, you hit the button, it stays on, I think he said, for 5 minutes. You go over and hit the button again, and we can go in and control. If let's just say that one of the lines go bad, we can. Every port where the water comes out in the concrete has its own operating valve in there, and then there's a master switch to turn it off. It's timed so that after 6 p.m. or 7 p.m. in the evening, whatever, 8 p.m., I don't remember the time, but nobody can operate it between the hours, overnight hours.
We can set all that.
So it's already programmed. So he said this thing is simple. He said this is the same guy that did them all in Adams County that put all those in. He said it's a very simple thing. He said he's very seldom ever had to go back on maintenance calls on any of them that he's ever installed. And this is like the 39th one he's done. So
we can control the water pressure. You can turn that water pressure down. Kids won't even notice it, but it'll save some water.
Yeah.
5 minutes. I thought they had said 15. Doesn't that make
it might be. I don't remember what he said.
5 minutes isn't long enough.
Quick conversation yesterday, so I don't remember.
Well, either way, you can change that setting.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, it's completely programmable. He's going to teach us how to program it. So
that's great. So we come to rules. I don't want to have 4,000 rules out there. Like some of these signs I looked at were just, we'll have a sign with the donors. We'll have a sign with the rules. And that's probably it out there. So what I did was, I think the first 11 I took off of one sign, and then I went through a bunch of other signs, and anything that weren't in those top 11 I added, so you guys can see what you think we need. And I can also word these differently. This is just, I think number one, all persons using splash pad do so at their own risk. There's no lifeguard on duty. I mean, I think that's a given, don't you guys? Okay. I would think, we'll have to check with Joe to see if they're any legal. Adult supervision is required for children under, some said 6 and some said 12 years of age. I know what I think, but.
I voted 6, but okay.
yeah, me too. I
don't think a 12-year-old.
Yeah. Like someone can drive now.
I didn't like really the way this was worded. I think what some of these others kind of do it better. Splash pad is zoned for age-appropriate play. Please be considerate of others. I think there's more later about no horseplay and that kind of stuff. So.
My vote on that is, that's written for children. That's directed at children, but it's not children language.
Right.
So I think it'll be better if we put something like, be kind to each other. It's just something simple.
I was going to have it all done in cursive so none of them can read it.
There you go. There you go.
That's the way I think.
Gothic font. But just something that's like more like kid friendly. That's
Village of Georgetown's not responsible for lost or stolen items. Do we have signs up at the park, at the beginning of the park, that we're not responsible for stuff. I mean, I
Yeah,
think-
there's some signs in there that say that. I can check with the loss
Okay.
control at the insurance company. They probably already have some language that they would prefer to see on those signs too, and we'll incorporate that.
Oh, there's a typo. I was typing with my kitten on my lap. Do not enter the splash pad if you have a communicable disease or open wound. I mean, I think that's important. Do you think they'll, what do you think? You want it on there? You want to go through all of them and then come back?
Yeah. Not like-
Okay. Non-toilet trained children must wear a swimming diaper. That is an absolute yes. Prohibited items, pets, alcohol. Yeah, a lot of them said they had trouble with people thinking they were dog washes. Pets, alcohol, tobacco products, vapes, bicycles, scooters, skateboards, rollerblades, food, drink, glass containers, or grills.
A grill on the splash pad. Right, all right, all right. I think we should probably put their trucks too, because you're gonna wash out your bed of the truck with them.
Do what?
But better put trucks on there too, because people are gonna wash out.
Well,
bed
see,
of their
that's the
truck.
thing. I mean, you start listening, it's like,
I know.
well, I wasn't listed.
Put dirty laundry there too, I guess.
One of the signs had no soaps on their
Yes,
sign.
yeah.
I don't think I included. Yes, I
They
did put it
did,
in.
20.
Yeah, no soaps. Okay, so let's reword this a little bit to be more inclusive. Do not carry dirt, rocks, or sand on the splash pad. Water shoes are recommended. Do we care?
Overdoing it, in my opinion.
Okay, let's get rid of it. The splash pad shall be vacated at the first sign of thunder or lightning. I think that's a given. The splash pad may be closed anytime due to weather, maintenance, or other concerns. I mean, we can do it. Do we need to tell them that? They know we can do it. It's our splash pad. Do you think it needs to be
I don't think we
posted?
need to say it, but if you want to, I mean, it's not gonna hurt, but that's ours and we have control of the stuff,
Right.
everything else in the
I don't
park.
think we need, I don't want this long list of rules. I hate it when you go somewhere, especially with kids, and there's like this many rules. Let's do the rules that are important. To activate the spray features, press the start button on the activator post. That's a given. We may do a separate sign for that.
That's
You
what I
don't want
was,
them to have to read all through the thing, find out how to use it.
right.
No toys. Confetti obviously has been a major problem in splash pads. Several of them had confetti. No toys, confettis, water balloons, etc. allowed.
Because if I'm a kid, I'm thinking like you're like little dump truck and little things you're.
No, they're thinking of 13-year-olds chasing each other, throwing water balloons as hard as they can and running over the little ones is what that's about.
I don't know how big the grate in the middle is, but everything's has a slight slope to the middle drain. So it will definitely pull in anything that's thrown down
Yeah.
there.
I mean, that's my guess is this is older kids they're talking about, except for the toys. I mean, I don't care if somebody has a little truck or something, but if it gets too little, it'll go into the drain. What do we think? Mark, what do you think about no toys, confetti, or water balloons?
I like that.
Okay, so do I. That's 2-1. Jeremy loses.
I like that.
Again,
No running, pushing, or rough play.
standard.
I think that's clear. No weapons, fighting, profanity, or abusive language.
That's a general
we need to
park
put
rule
that on?
anyways, isn't it?
And that's
Yeah, I mean,
I'll look at the signage that's out there. It might be time to replace
And
some
I
of those
think-
signs.
that takes the place of the splash pad is zoned for age appropriate. Splash pad cannot be reserved for parties or groups. I don't think we need that because we don't reserve anything out there. Vandals will be prosecuted. That's a given, right?
Given law.
Okay, here's one of my concerns. Do baseball cleats have metal spikes on them?
Not anymore. Most of them
Most of them have rubber.
rubber.
It's
because
illegal.
I think they've made it
up until
illegal
high school.
for football and baseball to
I
have
knew
metal
football
spikes.
didn't, and I
Yeah, no,
knew
baseball don't
soccer
either.
didn't, but I couldn't remember back to football.
No, but
I
think
mean,
they're-
baseball.
OSHA doesn't, I mean, not OSHA, but Ohio High
So do
School
we want to
Athletic
leave
Association.
that? I mean, any parents nuts let their kid go play in the thing with their,
But what I see happening, I'm being
Baseball.
very serious about this because you have all the ball diamonds plus the soccer balls. I see kids on muddy days like rinsing off their shoes there. I totally see that happening.
See, I don't because
No?
it would take energy to walk from the ball diamonds over to the splash pad.
oh, see, I think they're going to be so hot, they're all just going to run after the game and run through it.
That,
Which I kind
that
of
could
hope
be.
for. Which I kind of hope for, but just not in their shoes.
See, I think you should leave that in there, no spikes, cause just in case. Cause,
Do not climb, pull, or hang on the equipment. I think I mean, you shouldn't have to say this to people. I could tell you stories from one splash pad guy I talked to, you would not believe things people did. I don't think we need no soaps. I was on a roll. All park rules apply. I mean, that's pretty. I think that's a given. And do not sit or stand on the jets.
Never work.
Not touching that one. I'm not touching that
Do you
one.
know what happens when you sit on a water jet?
Please don't tell me.
That was one of the stories I had from one of the water splash pad guys.
Isn't that just a bidet?
No,
No.
it's more like a, what's the word I want to use? I don't know. Anyway,
And
That one will be tested, I'm sure.
yeah,
of course it will, and they'll be sorry.
yeah. It's an animal. of
And then let's go
prejudice.
clean it up, it's gonna be sorry. Failure to comply with above rules will result in removal from park premise. The Village Georgetown reserves right to enforce any other rules or restrictions not explicitly included or listed above. You know, I'm sure there's some kind of catch-all legal thing Joe would tell us. So we have all persons using the splash pad do so at their own risk. There's no lifeguard on duty. Adult supervision is required for children under 6.
Since there is no depth in water, is lifeguard, or should we say supervisor or attendant? or something like that?
Attendant. I did have somebody a year ago when we were talking about this, worried about the kids drowning. Said that it's not going to happen.
Where are you putting attendant?
Instead of lifeguard in number 1.
Oh, okay. I see. I got you. That's
I don't think we need number 4. They know we're not responsible. Non-toilet trained children must wear a swimming diaper, prohibited items. And I'm going to reword that to another inappropriate objects or something. I don't know. Do not carry dirt, rocks, or sand on the splash pad. I think we'll do the activation on a separate sign. I don't know why it's in a list of rules, but that's where it was on several of them. The toys, confetti, water balloons, no running, pushing, or rough play. No spikes on, should I say on sports shoes or no spikes or sports shoes?
I would say or because like what I'm saying, I see them rinsing off their shoes.
Yeah.
Of any kind of.
Let me ask you this, when we went back up where you were going to have maybe water shoes recommended, if you say no spikes or sports shoes could mean water shoes too. So you've got to be a little more definitive. You know, number 9, unless we scratch that off to begin with.
I had number 9 crossed off.
Oh,
Me
did you?
too.
Oh, okay. Well, then never mind.
Do not climb, pull, or hang on the equipment. Do not sit or stand on jets. That's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. That's,
16, isn't it?
no, I have 11. 1, 2, 6, 7, 8, 9. No, 8, 10, 12, 13, 14, 18, 19, and 22. 1, 2, 3, 4,
Not vandals will be prosecuted 17?
10, 11, 12. Say what?
Not 17 vandals will be prosecuted?
Well, no, because they're gonna be prosecuted no matter what they do at the
Good.
park.
Just checking. Also, you're counted 12, but I think that's a separate sign.
Say what?
You counted 12, but I thought that's gonna be a separate sign.
Oh, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. I didn't teach math. 11,
Can I make a recommendation?
absolutely.
At my office, at Burger King, they have a sign on the door, on each side of the door that says no still photography or video photography with your phones. Does that need to be on here?
I would think a lot of parents would want to film the kids having fun in that. You're worried about perverts?
Yes.
How do you do that in public?
Well, I'm just,
Yeah,
Hard
I'm
to
just,
do
I don't
that.
know.
Mr. Mayor, I'm just
Yeah, yeah.
saying my
Yeah.
concerns to protect the public.
I don't want to do that because I think a lot of parents
Okay,
and grandparents
okay,
would want
that's
to.
cool. I'm just bringing it
If it
up.
gets to be a problem, then we'll address it. Maybe.
Okay,
But good
If
thought.
people are taking pictures and then promoting something using some child's picture, then that's not right. But I don't know how. you
Shows
get
up on
around it.
somebody else's Facebook and mom and dad see it, there'll be a problem.
okay.
I think you're thinking about less savory things, aren't you?
Yes,
Yeah,
because
right.
when I go in my office, I look at that sign every day.
Yeah.
But other than that, I'm good with this. This looks very
Yeah.
good.
Did I go through it too fast? Do we think we're all good? All right. Dora report. Do you have any more to report?
A quick thing to report because, in terms of change in status of things, the answer is no. So the idea is that, we're kind of in an in-between period right now. I'm going to be super honest with you because I had a really busy week this past week. And the idea being that, in theory, we're going to have a proposal that would be, if it moves out of the committee, would then be brought to the full committee to vote. And that would be either next meeting or the meeting after that, kind of depending. This would be something that is it'd be not an official thing. It's what we would say if we were going to send something to Joe to make it official, what it would be. Trying to make us build as many stages in as possible so people can get as much input as possible. But the idea that I was thinking of is that once the committee, if the committee finalizes a proposal to bring to everyone, what I would do is I would have that written up and sent to every member of council with significant lead time ahead of it so they could look over it, And in addition, because on the night we vote on this, I will give a short presentation of it. And that short presentation coming from me will be likely to be in favor of it, promoting it. And I would, in the email to the council, I would outline exactly why I think we should do this. I feel that that's something important to do because a lot of people want to hear things ahead of them. They don't want to be surprised by it. And they want time to process, do their own research. I mean, we have some people here that genuinely spend some time looking into things, which is fantastic. And I want to respect that and put things together in a way that gives them time to wrap their head around it one way or the other. So as soon as we have, there's two key things, and I won't mention them now because they should come out of committee, not from me. There are two key things that we want to resolve, and I think we just need another 5 minutes to discuss which is the best compromise position on some of these things.
You want to do that now or next meeting?
I think it should be me and Kelly and Mike that should do that before we bring it here. No, it's okay. Yeah. I don't know that it's appropriate or fair for me to
Right.
bring things to the bigger group that have not been vetted in the smaller
Sure.
group. Okay. So that's where we're at. Things are, next week gets a lot, I'm going to be honest, next week opens up a little bit for me. So that's when I can spend some time, hopefully putting the final touches on what we're looking at.
Posted an article on Georgetown, Ohio, Open for Business, and it was talking about things if you're a small town rural business to improve your business and that. And they had done a survey and, put the hours in, which of course, I don't remember the exact times, but they were like, mid-morning to early afternoon, and then kind of mid-afternoon to late afternoon on Saturday and Sunday, and it ranked them the most, the busiest time. But they also gave other things you should do, and one of the things was have events. Doesn't have to be big, small. Have a small band, have some music outside of your store. A lot of this, Jordan has talked about. And Dora plays right into that to me, to allow that. But yes, I read it. I just thought, that's what we're trying to do. So.
Exactly. And when we were in the last time, people were just popcorning ideas that had never even occurred to me about, let's try this like that. Like, I think it was Steve was talking about like, let's do decades, like 70s party on this Friday, 80s party. Like, never would have occurred to me in a million years. But that's the whole point, is that I think this is an opportunity for people to get creative.
I kind of liked it. I had brought up to several of them. I don't know if I talked to you or not. Maybe I had. About just to begin with, the first year, just opening for events. So everybody could see, no, we're not going to have drunks all over the square. And no, it's not going to be a trash heap. And, let people kind of wade into it slowly. But that doesn't mean just the events we have now. It's also like the street parties, the street dances, the decade dances, that kind of thing. So yeah, I think that's.
And that's a major, again, I don't want to speak for people that aren't here, but that is probably the number one thing we're discussing is what is a good compromise speed to roll things out with. How much is too little? How much is too much? Because my consideration is that if we do too little with it, it's like it's not there at all, and it won't catch fire. If we do too much with it, we've got people that are concerned about these things, and we want to empirically demonstrate that this is not that way. It's a safe, fun, family-friendly kind of atmosphere. And so a lot of discussion is about where's the sweet spot on that to get that rolling.
What time is it, Jeremy?
It's 6:20 Infinity.
Okay, good. That's the word I was gonna get to. I was gonna say, do I have time to say one word? Infinity.
Okay, I got you.
That's where we're looking at here. That's the sweet spot, infinity.
Okay.
You and
I
me are
had that-
thinking
I had
like.
That's worrisome. Anyway,
That's worrisome.
So yeah, I can talk more if you want. This is
yeah, that's okay. I
Yeah,
hadn't
there's-
talked to you ahead of time. I just didn't know if you had anything else I didn't want to leave you out and think you weren't.
I will also say this, and I realize this is mildly partisan, but I'm admitting to anybody who's watching that it is, that up to this point that I still have a distinct majority of people who are in favor of it. This includes both businesses and families that live on the square. I want people to know if they're watching that if you are not in favor or if you are unsure, that your voices are being heard and considerations and concessions are being made, trying to find a balance between some very, very intelligent concerns that we've heard. I don't want people to think that just because I might disagree with them or not see what you're seeing, that I'm dismissing it out of hand. It's completely not true. We're listening, we're modifying, changing, and I think everyone on the committee is is very aware of concerns that have been raised. So if we're going to do this, it's going to be in a way that we hope will address those concerns effectively and appropriately so that even people who are unsure of this can see that their opinions have been placed into effect the best we possibly can.
The bottom line is you have nothing to add.
I've not, clearly. Wait till roundtable. No, I'm kidding.
Thank you.
Yeah, thanks.
Okay, the semi-quincentennial. I love that word. That is my new favorite word, semi-quincentennial. That is the 250th birthday of our nation, which will be July 4th, 2026. And Sue, I just wanted to give you a heads up because Sue McKinley is going to come and talk about that tonight. She's going to be ahead of that, like she was our bicentennial, with some help from hopefully a lot of people. So I just wanted to let you know that that's coming up. And Ohio History Connection is very involved in that in Ohio and making some money available and all of that. So
Did she get appointed to do that or what?
no, someone called her and asked if she would do it. She called me and said, I'm not doing it without you. And I said, sure, I'll do it. And she talked to Tony Applegate today. I think she and Stan are going to meet with the commissioners on Monday. But Tony seemed very positive that somebody was stepping up to do it and that. She worked on a letter last night to send out to the other villages. Once she talks to this, she wants to be sure Georgetown is behind it and okay with it and stuff. So not much has been done or said, but I just wanted to say it's that she's
This
going
is
to
kind of a county endeavor, or is it more local?
No, it's county.
County, okay.
It's kind of showcase the county. And one day, July 4th, there's really it can include all kinds of things, and I think the other communities, I would hope that they would do some other things in their own communities around the 4th, even through the whole year. But that one day, we would really like to, have a county celebration here. A lot of it would be over at the fairgrounds. So probably, she'll set it up the way she did the bicentennial, where everybody will be invited. We'll have meetings, everybody will be invited, and people will be in charge of one thing so nobody's overwhelmed and just get ideas. I'm sure we want to have a parade, and I'm sure we want to do fireworks, but between a parade and fireworks, there's a whole day we got to come up with some fun stuff and educational things, fun educational things. So I just kind of wanted to let you know that's coming up tonight. She'll be here tonight. Then we get to, the Appalachian Grant update. You've given everybody their thing. Is there anything you want to say about it?
I just wanted to show you guys this real quick. I don't know if there's something here to point with. I didn't put a map in that packet I gave you, but you didn't already know the splash, but this is the park.
Yeah.
There's the concession stand, the splash pad's going right here. But this Appalachian Grant, the very first thing that came in my idea that I talked to her about was because this grant is really focused on history, arts, economic development, some medical, downtown revitalization, but one of the projects is we're gonna create a history trail, which I've gone too in depth in here, but basically what my plan is here is to this whole walking path in the park, this entire walking path will be redone, widened with a bike path near it. And around the walking path, there will be little history message boards there that you can read or you can scan with your phone. Now, this is a huge project. I can't stress until you read that, you're gonna be amazed, but the rest of it is to bring the path into town by working some new sidewalks and repair the back gate coming into the cemetery or into the park, redoing this road, sidewalks coming down North Street, leading down to Grant's Homestead, the tannery, and then coming up into the middle of town, some history, some history boards and stuff about some of the buildings, about the creation of Georgetown. And then we'll be tying it into the cemetery, the old cemetery in front of the fairgrounds here, and to Grant Schoolhouse back here. So it'll be a whole walking trail or bicycle trail. Now, this is so preliminary, you know, there's going to be a lot of planning in this and a lot of engineering. But like I was telling you earlier, Jeremy, in the report there, I already picked Structure Point to be our lead planner for now, but these projects will all get broken down and, you know, so like the history trail, Ripley might be doing something similar. So those two projects will be put with other communities, even other counties that kind of relate to the same thing. So there might be another planner involved in that process.
I like how the grant one goes down to Point Pleasant. They have those maps that kind of
Yes.
people do. Yeah, yeah.
But, you know, we can put all these into one application.
Yeah.
Based on the type of project they are. The other project ties in with downtown revitalization, and there's money available. And I'm going to start talking to the business owners. I'm going to try to get a hold of them and set up a meeting next week in the downtown area. There's money that will allow them to basically redo their facade and to possibly renovate their buildings to allow for apartments upstairs or the creation of a new business. And then that ties into State Street or 125 for the full length of the village. ODOT, we'll talk to them. We're going to partner with them as well. And they might kick in some money here to help with this grant, but a total revitalization of downtown, that new sidewalks, curbs, new pavement along State Street, both sides, renovating this bridge down the street here at the bottom of the hill, putting the electric uptown underground, because if you look, there's only one wire. It's just street lighting. It's not a big thing, and then installing the antique looking street lights that we have over on the square and by the bank all through town. You know, it's all going to be engineered, but that's curb, sidewalks, the gutters and the street itself, the intersection, new light exchange. And then you'll read in there, Nancy had a conversation with a medical facility in the area, and they're interested in expanding their services in Georgetown and possibly building some kind of new complex here to expand services. But that's very in its very infancy. So I'm not even going to say who it is yet, because I don't know how we're going to go about that. But there's a ton of things you'll read in that packet, but basically it's just something to help draw people into Georgetown and give people a reason to come to the park. And you know, if indeed this Dora thing works and we do this with the downtown thing, then that might tie in, and we have some success there. And there's a couple things going on right now with an empty building up here that we're working with Jason on, that we might be able to come to a resolve on some buildings here in the village as well. But that's a quick overview. You read the packet, and you're welcome to call me at any time with questions, but we're just starting this thing out, and I'm gonna tell you, this chews up a lot of time, and I'm on the phone a lot, and a lot of meetings are getting ready to start happening. But this is a humongous, probably I would say the biggest project that's ever happened in Georgetown at one time.
Is this something that could be a full grant, or is it a matching grant?
It's a full grant. It's a completely full grant. And today they sat down with me and they kind of self-scored in the office about, check marked everything that we've got listed here. And everything meets the criteria, and everybody feels good. We've even had some conversations at the governor's office of Appalachia, who will be scoring this. Everybody's excited about this because of the history connection to Grant, and it really fulfills the downtown revitalization piece of the grant, which was what the grant was designed for, is basically was revitalization of rural areas. So there's a lot going on. I'll keep you updated. You're welcome to come in at any time and sit down and talk to me, call me and talk about it, whatever, but read your packet later and see the scope of this thing and ask me any questions you want.
Does this side, are you done?
Yeah.
Does this sidewalk go to the old junior high?
I don't know yet. We gotta mark it out. We gotta mark it out. So
Okay.
I don't know. It hasn't been mapped out enough to
Historic to go to.
do what?
The junior high was historic to go to. I don't remember the classes. I remember the building. It was quite different.
About the Grand Avenue building,
Wherever we had junior high, 7th and 8th grade.
that building was designed by the same man who designed Music Hall.
Really?
Okay,
Yeah, and it's
well,
fallen in.
I didn't know, I don't know who, you went there, I know you went there, but the building was historic. I don't know where you went to school. But I know you went there, the building was historic.
That
And
was-
it could, Mark,
Cool
it
building.
just has to satisfy the requirements of bringing people into the village and doing something for economic development. Right now, that building's privately owned and not
Oh,
in really
okay.
good shape, but that doesn't mean
Well,
it can't be part of it.
I'm just saying it was something I thought with Grant or something. Maybe I'm
Yeah, it could be.
totally off about.
So I'm not
that.
gonna say no, it just depends, when we start engineering the project, and that's when we would know that.
It's on the National Register.
Okay.
But,
If for nothing else, for the architect.
yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely.
So,
Go
well,
ahead.
just really quickly, first of all, like, major kudos, high five. I heard rumblings about this and I am ridiculously excited about it. Two quick questions. One, is this going to be talked about in full council tonight?
I'm just gonna do a brief overview. I mean, it would take, I'm excited about this, as you can tell. I'm probably overly excited. Everybody will think I'm stupid about it, but it would take me an hour or more to
Sure.
sit here and talk about this. That's why I wrote this up, and I'll make that public to anybody that wants it, but, this is really early. Jason's helping on it. Nancy's helping on it. Dale's helping on it, and it's going to take a lot of community support. We're going to need letters of support from different organizations, and so it's going to be a big project, and you guys are going to be more involved in it than you think when it starts to roll. So I'm not going to go into real in depth because we're so early into the process and trying to break these down and to figure out how we're going to build the application and all that stuff. But you're welcome to, anybody's welcome to call and ask me questions, and I'll sit down and talk to anybody, you guys, the public, anybody about it.
That was my second question. This by being here is now a public document. I didn't know if you were like ready for like lots of questions, stuff like that. Cause I imagine some of the questions are going to be answered. We're not sure, we're working on it. And I didn't know, but you're ready for questions and public input and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
Okay.
I mean, the reason I say that is next week, there's gonna be an online meeting, a Zoom meeting, and I'll be sending out some invites when I get the link to that. But that's gonna be just the beginning. Probably in 2 weeks, we're gonna get everybody that's gonna be partnered with this, from the History Connection to other villages, the county, village. We're gonna have a big meeting upstairs and we'll start collaborating this thing. This is gonna take a lot of hard work from all of us, but I am not gonna back away from this project, even no matter how hard it gets or how hard it seems. I think we got an opportunity that we're never gonna have again. And
This
we're
is a
gonna make
once-
something good out of this for the village of Georgetown.
And I just want to make it clear, the reason I kind of got in on this before the rest of you is because I'm chair of the Brown County, Ohio Tourism. And the first meeting I went to, and I don't think I even knew Art was going, or I don't know, but I've been to several meetings, but it's mainly been kind of as chair of that because we've been partners with a couple of with the Underground Railroad and stuff, with some other things. So anyway, I didn't want y'all
I do
to
not feel slighted.
wonder
Okay.
why is she, but that's how I got into it. But of course,
Okay.
my allegiance is always to Georgetown.
I've got it on my whiteboards in my office. I've really got this broken down to where you could come in and sit down and talk to me, and it's easier for me to explain it because I've got it broken down piece by piece on that board. So, and pretty much the same as in that.
I don't even know how he's keeping up with all of this. This is a full-time job, and then throw in all the grants he's written and all the infrastructure. I don't know how he's even doing it. There's trouble. And Sue's here too. Okay, we are supposed to come up with goals for our, you weren't there, Jeremy, at our work session.
I was
We're
not.
supposed to
I'm
come
sorry.
up with goals for our committees.
Right.
And this is kind of what I had put down. I think actually the last meeting, along with the things that were addressed, the back park of the entrance may get addressed through this, Mark. We're gonna make that a walking and a biking trail. We're gonna have to do something, slow people down. So anyway, I don't know if you all have thought about it. If you have other things you'd like to do, you want to wait till the next meeting, you want to email me things, we want to talk about it in the next work session.
Is it appropriate to say, try to make Georgetown look a little more or not a little, a lot more attractive?
I will guarantee you that's my number, but I don't think that's this committee. I think that's council as a whole. That's my number one thing.
Okay. Okay, I didn't know if that was appropriate to bring up here or somewhere else.
I don't know. Is that CDC art?
I think it just
Cleaning
depends on
it
what we're
down.
doing, you know, what part is, and we've got zoning, we've got sidewalks would be part of that, so that's,
Well, but I'm saying for the CDC, for our committee goals,
no.
is cleaning the place. I think it's more just council, don't you? a
Yeah, I think it is
council
too,
goal?
because I think it relates more to zoning and
You know,
Yeah.
kind of stuff.
That committee also does housing, building use. So that
Yeah.
could kind of apply.
I did, and I don't, cause I don't know how this went down, but I did send my priorities for every committee them on to
Read 'em.
Kelly, and she did read them. Okay. So that's, I mean, I'm willing to discuss and navigate more, but that was my knee-jerk response to what we should prioritize. I've got them here if you want me to restate them. Yeah, okay.
What's appropriate for this committee? She wanted each committee to have their own goals.
Right. So this is, and these are, make sure I'm doing this right. These are broad goals, right? These are not,
Yeah, broad
Okay.
goals, and then we can break them down.
okay. So, park was one of the ones that I had as well. Park,
Yeah,
okay.
we've got to.
Yeah. I think it's just such a draw and it's got such potential to, yeah.
But it needs to be planned. You can tell what we've got now was never planned. Things just kind of
We never had a
happen.
grant like this. We get little bits and pieces. You got to do what you can do. Yeah. Mine, I don't know when you wrote yours, but mine was pretty recent because Port Authority falls under this this committee, and just generically stating for the time being that getting the most we can. I think the Port Authority is a fantastic idea, and I can't wait to see what it can do. I'm sure it can do things that I don't even know about, and that's exciting. And then let's see, the other one I had was too specific. I put Dora, and that's way too specific. So I will say the downtown area, the square area, and Dora being a part of that. So that'd be my third one for the broad development things.
Mark, did you have any?
Mine mainly dealt with park planning, and I got too specific on our work session because
Okay.
I have ideas already, but that was the only thing pertinent to this committee. I had other things for other committees, but not specific to this committee.
Would that be part of downtown revitalization, you think? The Dora,
That's what I'm saying. I
that would
think
be
so.
under, I think.
The focusing on the square, but
Yeah.
I think you can call it downtown revitalization for sure.
Okay,
Of which subset would be Dora.
okay. So that's probably our three main goals is Port Authority, the 5, 10, or 15-year park plan, and downtown revitalization.
Nancy, I don't know if I told you that or not, but your 5 or 10-year park plan, I've actually talked to a Parks and Recreation engineer last week. He's going to give, because a couple of years ago, we sat down and tried to do a plan on our own when I was working here before, and we just kind of put it on paper and it never went anywhere. He said it would be very affordable for them to create an actual master plan for the park. Since we're doing that really through a structure point for the rest of the village with the infrastructure, it makes sense to do that with the park now. So I'm going
Need
to,
professional help
yeah.
in lots
And
of
the park
ways.
does too, yeah.
So we could like come up with things that people have said they wanted and all of that, and then they would be able to plan it out.
I got one quick question. Somebody said something to me last week, and I never really thought about this, but they said that they never get a chance to use the park. They would like to walk in there, but their hours would cause them to walk in there after dark. So I got to thinking about this. Why don't we consider lighting that park up,
No problem at all.
leaving
with
it open 24 hours a day, this walking path's big enough that a police officer can drive right through there and go to the other side of the park. Because what I'm saying is right now we lock it up. It's pitch black back there. People are still parking over in IGA. And I think we're actually creating a situation where nefarious things are going on in the
I
park
think
because
so
we're
too,
dark
but
back
we're
there.
lit up and people were back. And I know a lot of older people, you know, because it what opens at dawn or daylight, dawn, I guess. And they were talking about they like to go walk like at 5 o'clock in the morning.
I see people out doing that up and down Main
Yeah.
Street.
Personally, I don't
5.
get it, but okay,
Yeah, well,
good for them.
Just
But yeah,
something
I'm
to
all
think
for
about.
it.
yeah. Do you have any sense of that being something that could be folded into?
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay, I'm still
Yeah.
not, there's so much.
Yeah.
Okay. That would be
But that was
fantastic.
totally separate as an idea because they said something I started thinking about. I said, you know, they're right. People park over there and go back there in the dark
Shed.
and hang out. I mean, we had people living in the shed back there a
Right.
couple of years ago because they were doing that at night.
Yeah,
If it's lit up, accessible for the
If a new
police.
path is wide enough to get a cruiser back there, that would be a thing, so they could go back there once or twice.
Absolutely.
This one is. I drive the town truck across
Oh, do you?
that path, yeah.
Okay.
But yes, you're right, and it will be. It'll even have a better base in it so that can happen for emergency vehicles.
But I think the point is it's going to happen. So we might as well at least do things that would prevent it, because if we just do nothing, it's going to keep happening the way it's happening.
I just never really thought about people not, you know, some people
Yeah.
would love to go walk in the park, but they can't. because
oh, I
it's
hear it
closed.
all the time. And when it's really, really hot, people talk about they'd love to go walk in the dark because it's so hot, but they can't. So
I think many of the neighbors would complain about too much light.
I don't, that's a question. I don't know if there's a way to angle the light away. I don't know. That's a good
I think
question.
there's LEDs that you can almost shine them straight down.
Yeah.
Broadcast.
Well, and if I'm not mistaken, there are, I know this to be true, is there's regulations now that they have for not for dark skies communities necessarily, because we're not going to be that, but ones that are, there's a whole bunch of things that will help you with light pollution and things like that, that like cones and stuff like that direct the light where you want it, blah, blah, blah. It's, there's a lot of information. out
Our new
there.
LED lights are made for that
Right,
purpose. You
right.
can program them to do certain things. So yeah, you're right.
So I envision something newer like that being even better than what
Yeah.
we've got, because it'd be next generation.
Art, at what point do you think we ought to have him come in? Should we come up with some ideas in that first? Have, you know, get ideas from the community and then have him in, or some of this professional who can help?
Oh, the
us
park plan. Yeah, I
Yeah.
don't think it'd be a bad idea to have a public meeting about it and get some ideas from people.
Yeah, because I think we need to, it's something a lot of people care a lot about and have a lot of ideas.
You think it'd be wise to get the park planner to give us kind of a pick list of things that they've done to see whether that's something the public would be interested in? You know, we don't want to just have a hodgepodge of every different thing out there. But if we have something that we know is tried and true in other parks, that might be.
He did share
beneficial.
some websites from some other communities, and I'll send that to you and you can look at that. I mean, he's done huge things like public pools and adult splash pad basically, and big water parks like Lancaster, Ohio. He did theirs. So yeah, I'll get that to you. That's a good
And I
idea.
mean,
I'll
we
send
may
this
get
to
a
you.
hodgepodge of ideas, but that'll be our job to narrow it down and do the things that best serve.
Well, plus, you know,
the
we're doing this,
community.
whatever, 5, 10, 15-year plan. So we're not all going to be here then probably. So we just leave it on to somebody else to keep expanding and meeting that plan, I guess.
Killing me off early, man.
No, I meant we may not be on council. I hope we're all alive.
Okay.
That's why I wanted to get
Yeah, I may
that.
not be here.
That's why I wanted to get that cemetery wall redone, because I figured by the time it needs done again, I'll actually be on the other side of it and I won't worry about it.
So, you want to maybe at the next meeting, look at setting up a community meeting or whatever, get a little more organized, explain to people. This is not looking at next year. This is looking. way
No,
into
that's the
future.
only drawback, not drawback, but that's the thing about this grant, this whole grant. It's going to move fast because we're going to be applying toward the end of the year. So
Yeah,
we tie all this together. It's going to be a pretty fast.
but I'm
moving
talking
process.
about for the new section of the park.
Yeah, but some of that we might get in the grant.
Yeah.
We might be able to get some things out of that for the park.
Really?
Yeah.
Because that new 20 acres, would it's so swampy in that there's gonna be a lot of work done, did I say?
Yeah, there would have to be. But yeah, that's good. We'll talk about that next meeting and maybe come
Okay.
up with a date and get it advertised and.
Anything else? I will entertain a motion to adjourn.
Move.
Moved by Mark,
I'll second.
seconded by Jeremy. I'll say aye.
Yes.
Aye.
Those opposed? We are adjourned.
Thank you, Nancy. Good job.